Ever wondered how fulfilling it could be to grow your own vegetables right at home? Welcome to a journey that will transform your kitchen waste into a garden of edibles. Imagine the satisfaction of biting into a fresh tomato that you've grown yourself, or serving a salad harvested from your backyard. Not only does home gardening save money, it's a step toward a sustainable lifestyle, reducing our carbon footprint. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear idea of how to start your own vegetable garden. To start with, understanding the basics of home vegetable growing is essential. Let's dive right into it. Firstly, it all begins with location. Every plant needs light to grow, and vegetables are no exception. Positioning your garden in a spot that receives at least 6 hours of sunlight daily is crucial. Don't worry if you don't have a backyard. Plants can be grown in containers on a balcony, patio, or even windowsills. The key is to ensure they get enough sunlight. Next, we move on to soil quality. Not all soils are created equal. The best soil for growing vegetables is loamy soil. Dark, crumbly, and rich in organic matter. It has a good balance of clay, silt, and sand, which ensures proper drainage and retains nutrients effectively. If your soil is heavy clay or sandy, don't despair. You can improve its structure and nutrient content by adding compost or well-rotted manure. Now, let's talk about choosing the right vegetables to grow. This is where the season comes into play. Some vegetables thrive in cool weather, like lettuce, peas, and broccoli. They are best planted in early spring or fall. Others, like tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers, love the heat of summer. It's important to plant vegetables at their appropriate times to ensure a bountiful harvest. Another aspect to consider is the cost. Growing your own food can be a cost-effective way to have fresh, organic produce right at your doorstep. But remember, some plants require more care, time, and resources than others. Choose plants that are suitable for your budget and schedule. Lastly, we cannot stress enough the importance of avoiding contamination. Always use clean tools and containers, avoid using pesticides, and go organic whenever possible. This way you can ensure that your homegrown vegetables are safe and healthy to consume. Knowing these basics sets the foundation for a successful home vegetable garden. In the next scene, we'll delve deeper into choosing the right location and preparing the garden, so stay tuned. The location of your garden and its preparation play a crucial role in the growth of your vegetables. So, let's start by talking about location. Sunshine is the magic ingredient that fuels the growth of your garden. Your vegetable patch needs to be in a spot that gets at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight each day. This is because most vegetables, herbs, and fruits need this amount of sunlight to produce the bountiful harvest you're looking for. Now let's think about the soil. It's not just dirt, it's the home for your plants, and it needs to provide them with all the nutrients they need. Start by tilling the soil. This breaks up hard-packed earth and makes it easier for plant roots to penetrate the soil. It also improves drainage, which is essential in preventing the roots of your plants from becoming waterlogged. Once you've tilled your soil, it's time to enrich it. Adding compost or organic matter to your soil is like giving it a vitamin boost. It adds nutrients, improves soil structure, and helps it retain moisture. You can make your own compost from kitchen scraps like fruit and vegetable peels, coffee grounds, and eggshells. Alternatively, you can purchase organic compost from your local garden center. Remember, your soil is a living, breathing thing. It needs food, water, and air just like any other living organism. So treat it well, feed it regularly, and it will reward you with a thriving, productive garden. One more thing to consider when choosing your garden location is accessibility. You want your garden to be close to a water source and easily reachable for regular maintenance and harvesting, so there you have it. Choose a sunny location, prepare the soil well by tilling and adding compost, and ensure the garden is in an accessible spot. With the right location and well-prepared soil, your garden is set for planting. Selecting the right vegetables to plant is a crucial step in home vegetable growing. Let's dive into the wonderful world of vegetables and explore some common and easy-to-grow options for your garden. We'll start with leafy greens. Spinach, kale, and lettuce are not only nutritious, but also quite forgiving to beginner gardeners. They thrive in cooler temperatures, making them perfect for spring and fall gardens. Root vegetables like carrots, radishes, and beets are another great choice. They need a bit more patience as they develop underground out of sight. Yet, the wait is always worth it when you pull out those vibrant, tasty vegetables from the soil. Then we have the warm season vegetables like tomatoes, bell peppers, and cucumbers. These are a staple in most vegetable gardens. They love the summer sun, and yield a bountiful harvest that often lasts well into fall. Now, the key to successful vegetable growing is to consider the season and climate. Each vegetable has its preferred growing conditions, and matching your choice to your local weather can make a huge difference. Think of it this way: if you're in a region with a short, cool growing season, warm weather crops like eggplants or peppers might struggle. On the other hand, cool weather crops like broccoli or peas might not perform well in areas with hot, dry summers. So, do a little research. Check the back of seed packets or plant tags for information about ideal growing conditions. Or better yet, reach out to a local agricultural extension office or a gardening club. They can provide valuable insight into what grows best in your area. But don't let all this talk about seasons and climates intimidate you. Gardening is as much an art as it is a science, and the best way to learn is by doing. So, experiment, make mistakes, and have fun along the way. After all, choosing the right vegetables is not just about ensuring a good harvest. It's also about enjoying the process, from sowing the seeds to picking the right produce. And trust me, there's nothing quite like the taste of a vegetable that you've grown yourself. Choosing the right vegetables not only ensures a good harvest, but also makes the process enjoyable. Once you've selected your vegetables, it's time to get your hands dirty and start planting. Planting your own vegetables can be a rewarding experience, and it's not as complicated as it might seem. First, you'll need to decide whether you're planting seeds or seedlings. Seedlings are young plants that have already started growing, while seeds are the tiny beginnings of a plant. If you're a beginner gardener or want to see results faster, seedlings might be the way to go. On the other hand, seeds can offer a wider variety of vegetables to choose from and can be a more economical choice. Regardless of whether you choose seeds or seedlings, the general process of planting is the same. You'll want to dig a hole in your prepared garden soil, place your seed or seedling in the hole, and then cover it with soil. But here's where the specifics come into play. Different vegetables have different needs when it comes to planting depth and spacing. For instance, leafy greens like spinach and lettuce prefer shallow planting depths, about a ½ inch deep. Root vegetables, on the other hand, such as beets and carrots, require a deeper hole, about 2 inches deep. As for spacing, larger vegetables like tomatoes and cucumbers need more room to grow, typically about 2 feet apart, while smaller plants like radishes and onions can be planted closer together, about 3 to 4 inches apart. Remember, the key to successful planting is not to plant too deeply or too close together. Overcrowding can lead to competition for nutrients and water, and planting too deeply can prevent seeds from germinating or cause seedlings to struggle to reach the surface. So, take your time. Pay attention to the needs of your specific vegetables and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Planting is an essential step in the gardening process, and doing it right can set your garden up for success. With your vegetables now planted, you're one step closer to your homegrown harvest. Maintaining your vegetable garden is where the real work begins. Now that your seeds are planted, it's time to roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty, but don't worry, it's a labor of love and the rewards are well worth it. Let's talk about watering first. The rule of thumb is to water deeply but infrequently. How often you water will depend on your climate, the time of year, and the type of soil. A good soak once or twice a week is usually enough, but in hot, dry weather, your veggies may need a little extra. It's best to water early in the morning when evaporation rates are lower. Remember, overwatering can be just as harmful as underwatering, causing root rot and other problems. Next up is weeding. Weeds compete with your vegetables for nutrients, water, and sunlight. It's essential to keep your garden as weed-free as possible. Hand pulling is usually the best method, but a hoe can also be useful for larger gardens. Make it a habit to weed your garden regularly, ideally once a week. Pest control is another critical aspect of garden maintenance. Insects, slugs, and birds can cause significant damage to your crops. Organic methods such as companion planting, using beneficial insects, and homemade sprays can be effective ways to keep pests in check. It's important to identify the problem early and take action before it gets out of hand. Regular care is the key to the growth and health of your vegetables. Check your garden daily. Look for signs of pests or disease, ensure your plants are getting enough water, and remove any weeds. It may seem like a lot of work, but it's a small price to pay for the satisfaction of harvesting your own fresh, healthy vegetables. Regular maintenance ensures a healthy vegetable garden and a bountiful harvest. With patience, diligence, and a little bit of love, you'll be rewarded with a garden that's not just productive, but a joy to tend. The most rewarding part of home vegetable growing is the harvesting. It's a moment of joy and pride when you finally get to reap the fruits, or rather, vegetables of your labor. But do you know when and how to harvest your homegrown veggies? Let's delve into that. Different vegetables have different cues to indicate they're ready for harvest. For instance, leafy greens like lettuce and spinach can be harvested as soon as they're large enough to eat. Simply snip the outer leaves, and they'll continue to produce more. Root vegetables, such as carrots and beets, are ready when their tops peek out of the soil. Just gently tug them out, taking care not to bruise them. For fruits like tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers, they're ready when they have reached their full color. They should be firm but give slightly when squeezed. Use a sharp knife or pruners to cut them, leaving a small part of the stem attached. Now let's talk about storing your fresh harvest. It's essential to store your vegetables properly to keep them fresh and nutritious for as long as possible. Most vegetables like a cool, dark, and humid environment. A fridge or a cellar can provide these conditions. Leafy greens and herbs can be wrapped in damp paper towels and stored in airtight bags in the fridge. Root vegetables can be stored in a cool and dark place in a breathable bag, like a burlap sack. Fruits like tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers should be kept at room temperature, away from sunlight. Remember, don't wash your vegetables until you're ready to use them. Washing can remove protective coatings and hasten spoilage. And one last tip. If you're not able to consume your fresh harvest soon, consider preserving them. Canning, freezing, and drying are excellent ways to extend the shelf life of your homegrown produce. Proper harvesting and storing techniques ensure you get to enjoy your homegrown vegetables at their freshest. Happy gardening and happy eating. So there you have it, a step-by-step guide to growing your own vegetables at home. We've walked through the entire process together, from understanding the basics of home vegetable growing to reaping the fruits of your labor. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered. We started by grasping the fundamentals of home vegetable growing. We discussed the importance of soil, light, and water, and how these elements interact to create a nurturing environment for your plants. We saw how understanding these basics can set the stage for a successful homegrown vegetable garden. Next, we delved into the process of choosing the right location and preparing your garden. We discussed how to assess your space for sunlight exposure, accessibility, and soil quality. We also touched on the importance of preparing the garden bed properly to ensure that your plants have the best possible start. Then we explored the exciting world of vegetable selection. We discussed how choosing the right vegetables for your climate, soil, and personal preferences can make all the difference in your gardening experience. We encouraged you to start with easy-to-grow vegetables like lettuce, radishes, and tomatoes, and gradually expand your garden as you gain confidence and experience. After that, we moved on to the actual planting process. We talked about the importance of planting at the right time, spacing your plants properly, and caring for them as they grow. We also discussed some common problems you might encounter and how to deal with them. In the following section, we discussed the ongoing maintenance of your vegetable garden. We highlighted the importance of regular watering, fertilizing, and pest control, and how these tasks can ensure a healthy, productive garden. Finally, we covered the rewarding process of harvesting and storing your vegetables. We discussed how to know when your vegetables are ready to harvest, how to harvest them without damaging the plants, and how to store them to ensure they stay fresh and delicious. And now, the garden path is laid out before you. It's time for you to embark on your own home vegetable growing journey. Remember, every gardener starts from scratch, and every successful garden began with a single seed. The benefits are many. Fresh, organic produce at your fingertips, the satisfaction of growing your own food, and the joy of connecting with nature. It's a journey of discovery, growth, and fulfillment. Start your home vegetable growing journey today and experience the joy of harvesting your own food. Now that you've harvested your homegrown vegetables, it's time to celebrate and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Let's get into the kitchen and whip up some delicious, healthy meals with your fresh organic produce. Here are the top 3 recipes you can try with your homegrown vegetables. First up, a refreshing salad with your leafy greens and radishes. Start by washing and drying your lettuce and radishes. Slice the radishes thinly and tear the lettuce into bite-sized pieces. Toss them together in a bowl, add a simple dressing of olive oil, lemon juice, salt, and pepper, and voila! You have a vibrant, crunchy salad that's packed with nutrients and flavor. Next, let's use your root vegetables to make a hearty vegetable soup. Begin by peeling and chopping your root vegetables into small pieces. Sauté them in a pot with some oil, salt, and pepper. Once they're tender, add water or vegetable broth. Bring it to a boil and let it simmer until the flavors meld together. Serve it hot with some fresh bread on the side. It's a comforting, wholesome meal that's perfect for those chilly evenings. Finally, let's create a delicious stir-fry with your warm seasoned vegetables. Chop your vegetables into uniform pieces, heat some oil in a wok and toss them in. Stir-fry them on high heat for a few minutes, then add some soy sauce, garlic, and your favorite spices. Serve it over steamed rice for a quick, nutritious dinner. These recipes not only taste great but also showcase the fruits of your labor. Cooking with your homegrown vegetables is a rewarding experience that brings the journey full circle. From seed to plate, you've participated in every step of the process. Enjoy your homegrown meals and remember the possibilities are endless when it comes to cooking with your own produce. So get creative, experiment with different recipes, and most importantly, have fun with it.